Happy Saturday morning.
Happy Saturday morning, and welcome back to another episode of Yurt News
That's
Nation.
right. You got it.
Is it Yurt News Nation?
It's right above your head.
Yurt News? Yeah, that's right.
The good news.
Cut. Welcome back to another episode of the good news from the Yurt Nation.
The good news, which I've always heard, the gospel, the good news, spreading the good news, spreading the gospel. Yeah. And my little woman here just has trouble saying this somehow. I don't know.
I forget.
But yeah, April 20th, 2024. It's a beautiful sunny Sunday. Beautiful sunny Saturday. A little cool this morning. Had some rain. And boy, I tell you what, it put us to sleep like two babies in a crib. We woke up at 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. So, man, really got some rest. I mean, which we needed. You needed more than anybody. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Because, resting is healing. So here we go with the title of today's devotion. And we are still in Psalm, which I've said before, I love Psalm. And I was telling Cynthia this morning, it says, at the beginning of each Psalm, like today's is Psalm 83. And it says a song or psalm of Asaph. And I was like, who is this? Well, I looked it up. And he was part of the Levites. And David, I believe it said David commissioned him and others to basically, write songs and stuff. So, and he wasn't just a songwriter, or whatever. He was actually a part of the Levites, which, best of my knowledge, I was telling Cynthia, the Levites were the priests, come out of. Tribe of Levi.
Yeah.
So this one, Psalm 83, titled Dealing with Enemies. Okay, dealing with enemies. It says, keep not thou, and I'm going to go ahead and say this in this psalm. There's several names of places, of people in that time and whatnot, or time before. And I'm going to do my best to pronounce them, and I'm probably not going to be correct on pronunciation of these. So I'm just going to do my best and read it, and
You're going to give it your all.
That's it, okay? So here we go. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against the hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarans, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to the Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endor. They become as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zeeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, art the Most High over all the earth. Yeah, and we know that Israel has been a target for many over thousands of years. There was a conspiracy against Israel right there. They were plotting. They like, what did it say here? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay, God, that's God's people. And we know by reading the Bible, God took care of his chosen children of Israel, and he still does so to this day. So as we read on in this devotion here, dealing with enemies, does it strike you as strange that one of the hymns in Israel's hymn book was Kill All My Enemies, Lord? When I search the index of my hymn book, I do not find a single section for complaints, vindication, or get rid of my enemies. And that's true. In our song books, I've never heard that, kill all my enemies, Lord. Most of the folks I know cut their teeth on the words of Jesus to the effect that we should turn the other cheek and love our enemies. However, it is often a long trip from being wrong to loving one's enemy. Sometimes we have to speak out loud of a terrible hurt and anger. What is reassuring is that God allows us to do so. In Psalm 83, Israel sang about her unspeakable pain and provided a model for us today. The point of the confession of pain is not to strike out against one's enemies, but to turn the trouble over to God. We are still expected to turn the other cheek, but doing so seems easier when we know that God has heard our cry. He, after all, is the Most High over all the earth. And
That's
that
sweet,
is true, yeah. If this is God's deal, then shouldn't we leave it to be God's deal? Right. We were, like baby, cutting their teeth as young Christians, whenever your age was, it whether you was young, growing up in church, singing hymns, the songs from the hymn book, or in Bible class and singing, Jesus loves the little children of the world. I mean, I remember singing that and in Bible class, being just old enough to remember the words, and singing it. And all the songs that we've sung about, of loving our enemies, pray for those that hurt you and persecute you, Why? Because God says, I will take care of you. Just as he does and still does for Israel. We Gentiles have become heirs to that. He takes care of us. He takes care of our enemies. He takes care of our battles. And we are to, I believe, keep that first and foremost in our brain here and not seek revenge.
No, y'all.
Not, well, they did that to me and I'm going to do it to them. That's God's.
Yeah.
God says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. He'll take care of it. Now, that's easier said than done, of course.
Yeah.
It is very much so. I think in the devotion, the person said, excuse me, the person said, let me try to find it here. Yeah, it says, okay, about Jesus to love our enemies. However, it isn't often a long trip from being wronged to loving one's enemy. That means it's a long journey, most of the time, for me being wronged by whatever and me loving them. It's generally a long trip for me to get there.
Yeah.
It ain't so much about them getting there.
Mm-mm.
And it'd be great, yeah, if the enemies realized, but it's about me getting there and realizing it. You know? And that is one of the hardest things.
Is to be still.
And what, to love your enemy.
Yeah, love your enemy.
It's like, what? You know, this is... But you know, the old law, it says, you know, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You hit me, I'm going to hit you. But Jesus said to love your enemy. So, I mean, there we go, guys. I know I'm kind of all over the place. I feel like I am, but, you know, I pray that,
you did good.
God helps with these devotions and gets out what he wants to get out, you know, of it to us, to the people. And, but I guess I'm just going to say, you know, over and over again that, you know, this is God's battle. And he's going to take care of everything. That's the way I do it. That's the way I live it. And that's the way I try to keep my mind focused on him and what he wants and needs us to do in our life. And not be over here worrying about this, that, and the other. Because I know that God is in control. And like the last verse of 83, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, the Lord, you know, art the Most High over all the earth. When we got that right there, we shouldn't be worried. And we do, but we shouldn't. You know, take in the comfort that God is Jehovah. He is the I am.
He's the beginning and the end.
That's right. So, yeah. That's what we got today. And we appreciate y'all for watching. And hopefully you all get something out of this as well. Helps you with your day along or whenever you do watch this. And it's awesome to see, you know, somebody does comment from time to time saying that, you know, they really needed this today. And I've done that before on, like, we watch something, you know, of somebody, and then it's like I normally don't comment or something, but I comment on these people that we watch before and say, really needed to hear this today.
Yeah.
And it's those things that you know that were meant for it to be said and it to be heard. So that's what we're trying to do here on, you know, the Good News from Yerk Nation is just open this up, dive into it each day, and see what it's trying to tell us, you know. And so, yeah, we'll see y'all on the next one. Appreciate y'all once again. Hit the like button, subscribe, and leave us a comment. And, yeah, like Cynthia says, hit that notification bell. So we'll see y'all on the next one. So peace out. Love you guys. Yeah.
I just want to say, you guys, please never give up because you have a beautiful purpose.
That's right.
Love you guys.
We'll see y'all.